I did it by mail.
I vote for Dawn's curls. That's what I'm voting for.
I love
it.
Holy
So
crap.
It's so good.
Yeah, those look
My
good,
hair's
Dawn.
naturally curly like this. I just straighten it every day. So
very beachy.
very
Let it
80s.
go wild.
I suddenly want a beef and cheddar. I don't know why.
All right, you guys are live right now.
Well, welcome to the myTalk 107.1 Project Down and Dirty classic radio drama, COVID style for 2020. And we will be doing our own recreation of War of the Worlds. I'm going to introduce you to our director, who will then introduce you to the cast members on the screen that you may not know. So with no further ado, Peter Rothstein.
Hi guys, nice to see everyone. In a while. What year did we do Project Down and Dirty the musical?
14.
6 years ago?
Was it that long ago?
Yes.
Wow, don't we all look good?
Yes, amazingly.
That was so fun. When Dan Seaman asked me if I would jump on board, I immediately said yes. You know, as a theater artist, this is a hard time. We don't really have an opportunity to be creative and to do our work. And so I jumped at the opportunity to be back in a creative space, and to be here with all of you is really a luxury I will never take for granted again post-COVID. So thanks for all gathering. So we're gonna spend the week recreating our own version of Orson Welles' Mercury Theater's radio adaptation of H.G. Wells' adaptation of War of the Worlds. And when we first started talking to the team about what this was going to be and how it was going to look and what it's going to sound like, someone said, well, we should localize it. The original radio drama, which was broadcast on October 30th, 1938, was set in New York City and New Jersey, Pennsylvania, that we should relocate it here to Minnesota and the Twin Cities. And that we would want to kind of dial up the spoof in it, find some comedy in it, because when it was first broadcast, it created this mass hysteria. I mean, sociologists study this event where thousands of people panicked. I mean, they fled their homes, they went into storm shelters and into their basements, thinking the Martians had landed. And it speaks to the power of radio. But it also, I think, spoke to a time in this country where people felt vulnerable and fear was palpable. And so when we decided that we were going to rewrite it and find the humor in it, we brought on the amazing Jeff Hatcher, who's based here in Minnesota, but his plays are performed all over the world, and his films are performed and created all over the world. And so, Jeffrey, will you tell us a little bit about how you reimagined Wells' reimagining of the Wells, War of the Worlds?
Well, first I changed my name to Wells. But I kind of forgot it was supposed to be a spoof. So at first, the first draft was, well, here it is in 1938 in Minnesota, and good luck with it. And Peter said, well, you know, it's supposed to be funny. So I revised it along those lines. It's but much of the shape is the same. We've added a few characters so we could take advantage of, you know, all of you and doing what you do. You know, we've got a lot of sound effects that Catherine is adding. One thing you some of you may know this, but the first adaptation that Wells did on Mercury Theater was Dracula, and he wanted the sound of water in a dungeon. Oops. So to do it, they took microphones into the men's room at CBS, turned them off, and at the right moment, they flushed all the urinals, then turned the mics on so that the sloshing sound in the urinals would sound like water in a dungeon. That's how much he thought about things like this. So I hope we can have some fun with some of that too. But we're probably shorter, don't you think, Peter, than the original? And we might even add commercials, but I'm not sure if that's been decided yet, right?
Correct. We're working on that.
Right. But aside from that, you know, it's you know, bring out your crazies, and a lot of it is deadpan humor too. So have fun with that Leslie Nielsen quality when appropriate.
Great. Jeffrey mentioned Catherine Horowitz when we decided we were going to do it all in 1938. Foley, sound effects, live radio sound effects, would have been a huge part of the original. And Catherine and I have collaborated numerous times together in the theater, but if you want a Foley artist, this is, I think, Catherine's sweet spot. So Catherine came on board and will be working with us all week, figuring out how we create the analog version, I guess, of the soundscape in our piece. Catherine, do you want to talk a little bit about the Foley and maybe even demonstrate one or two?
Yeah, sure. So I don't think we're going to be going into the myTalk 107 urinals, although I hope not. That is an awesome story, Jeff. You put me to shame. I'm so glad I know that. So yeah, basically we're going to be trying to create as many of the sound effects as possible live with actual objects. There are a couple of things like car engines that are a little more difficult, but particularly all of the alien spaceship sounds and that kind of thing. We're going to be doing a little experimenting and having a crazy amount of fun. So the first thing I realized one day I was in Target and I found this thing, which looks like an alien. And if you squeeze it, can you guys hear all that?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It sounds like gross alien footsteps or something. So I'm really hoping that this will work. And it's also like a lot of fun. It's like one of those stress balls. Another thing, Jason Hansen and I had a really long talk about the mechanics of the laser beam of the spaceship, which we're still working on, but I promise we'll keep you up to date when we figure out what the mechanics are. Anyway, but one idea that we had, in addition to having like an organ death ray note, is using a Zoob tube.
Wow.
That's really good.
Which is kind of a little Star Wars pew pewy, but I'm hoping that it'll work. And then finally, I totally forgot that I had this. Actually, my husband gave it to me several Christmases ago, and I have yet to use it until hopefully now. It's cheap and it's plastic, but it's a theremin. So, and I don't really know how to use it, but I did the other day. Yeah, figure out how to make the sound of the siren. And that fits in so perfectly with the time period. So I'm really, really hoping we can find a way to use that. So that's 3 kind of cool little techniques we're going to try this whole upcoming week and see what happens and have a ton of fun doing it.
Awesome. Thanks, Catherine. So everyone will kind of be stepping into this role as a Foley artist as we put this together. And there'll be quite a bit of music in the piece, both music that in the original broadcast, there were these musical kind of moments or interruptions, but we'll also be improvising and creating a soundtrack live with all of you. And who else but the amazing Jason Hansen will be doing that. Jason, do you want to talk a little bit about the music?
Sure. Well, Orson Welles had like a 37-piece orchestra in the studio.
Oh, Jason.
And we won't have that. Hi, Lori. But but we it wouldn't be melodrama without a nice early 20th century theater organ. Yeah, we can get a lot of really, really fun things to enhance the mood of the scene and to put us in that melodramatic spot. And as Peter mentioned, we're going to have some local artists to be announced soon that are going to sort of provide us with a lot of the local flair of things that we interrupt, right? So we interrupt these local performances that to share the news of the Martians arriving. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Hey, Peter, I think we're ready to let these guys know who the artists are we have so far, correct?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jace. So Davina and the Vagabonds. I'm a huge fan. And for who doesn't know Davina and the Vagabonds, but she has such a great kind of retro sound, and there's something really now about it, but she harkens back to so much music from the teens, 20s, and 30s. And so Davina will be and her band will be one of the featured ensembles in the piece. Davina will actually have a short appearance playing Davina. And then Jason, do you want to share our other musical talent as a,
Sure,
a friend
we
of
have
yours?
Cornbread Harris, and I don't know
Oh
if you
my
know
God.
Cornbread.
Yes.
Oh my, he's one of my, he's a dear friend actually, and I'm really, really excited to have him on. He just turned 93 and a half.
Oh, cool.
And
Oh.
to celebrate his
Legend.
93rd and a half birthday, he played 2.5 sets of music. He still plays really, I mean, he just does, he goes crazy. And we're excited to have him on as a part of the broadcast.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive in and give those listening just a hint at the script. None of the talent yet have been informed of what parts they're playing. And to be honest, it might shift over the course of the next week as we're figuring out rewrites and schedules and how voices bump up against each other. But we thought it would be fun to just hear a cold read. So no one's had a chance to look at this before knowing what parts they're going to play. But we thought it'd be fun to just do that for a few minutes for those watching right now. So cast, if you can turn to page 1, we're going to start Jason. Oh, do you have a script in front of you?
I do not. B. Arthur.
They sent it to you, Jason, to your email.
Oh, I don't know why your video is not on, but okay.
Check your email.
Do you want me to read it for you, Jason? Because you love how I read out loud.
What does my being on video have to do with you checking your email?
Inspiration.
Went so well.
I have to say, the print is really small when you're looking at on the phone, so I might be.
You got your readers on though.
I mean, it's like.
And then the old school girls have it printed.
Yeah.
I wish I had it printed. I would have printed it at home if I had a printer, but this will be fun.
Are you talking about War of the Worlds Draft 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, are you finding it, Jason?
I think, yeah.
Okay. So on page 1, Jason, we're going to start at the second paragraph with, we know that in the early years, we know now that in the year of the 20th century, that's where we'll begin. Do you see that?
Yes.
Second paragraph. Good.
Go read, Jason.
Jason will read Jason. Steve will read announcer number 1. Donna, you'll read announcer number 2. And we're just going to go to the middle of page 2 with the announcer as well. Let's do it then.
Okay. Should I start?
That? Yeah.
Okay.
So put on your best Orson Welles. This was Orson Welles, Jason.
And you want me to start with "We Know Now"?
Yeah.
Okay. We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, our world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's, and yet as mortal as his own. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. With infinite complacence, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over the small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which, by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Yet, across an immense, ethereal gulf, minds that are to our minds as ours are to the beasts in the jungle, intellects vast, cool and unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes, and slowly and surely drew their plans against us. In the 39th year of the 20th century came the great disillusionment. It was near the end of October. On this particular evening, October 30th, it was estimated that 32 million people were listening in on radio.
Oh, it looks like for the next 24 hours here in the Twin Cities, the temperature will be a high of 15 degrees, low of -10.
And next week's supposed to really get cold.
Here's something else that just came in from the Weather Bureau. An atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported to have occurred over Lake Superior,
That doesn't sound good.
causing a low-pressure area to move down rapidly over the central plains, bringing a forecast of snow, accompanied by winds of light gale force.
That's October for you. So what's
Well,
up next for our listeners out there tonight?
I would like to apologize to you and tell you that it's pretty exciting. Think you can handle it?
Crap.
Sorry, screwed you up.
Okay, here we go. I'm holding on to my coffee cup.
We're going to take you to the Hotel Nicolette in downtown Minneapolis, where you'll be entertained by the music of Davina and the Vagabonds.
Well, let's do it then.
Yay, nice
Excellent.
to read. Really fun, really fun. Good, we're gonna jump to page 8. And we'll start right at the top of the page
Casey?
with announcer number 1. Does everyone see page 8? Is everyone at the top of
My
8?
water so I can have a sip of my water.
I feel like I ever.
So we'll start with announcer 1 is Steve.
Oh, okay. I see.
Angry-
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it. What is the?
Donna,
Top of
it's a little. So
Do I need
look
to
for the
see it?
page in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, see, I
because the
have-
page of the
there's-
PDF is different. It's
Oh.
page 9 of your PDF, but like page 8 of the script.
Fridley, Minnesota.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Good.
There it
Angry
is, got it.
Man.
Yep.
Angry Man, Jason Matheson. Is it Erndal, Jeff?
Erndal.
Erndal. Colleen.
I'm Angry Man.
You're Angry Man.
Of course.
Oh, you're Angry Man. Colleen, Mrs. Erndal. Dawn, Angry Woman. Bradley, you're Carl Phillips. Lori, you're Professor Pearson. Going on to page 9, Alexis, you're Policeman.
Nice.
Nice, right? Good. We'll keep going. Page 11. Julia, you're Flossie.
Sorry, Larry.
Oh, that's all right.
And I think that's everyone in this section.
Was there?
So we'll go. What's that?
Was there Professor Pearson in this section too?
Yeah.
Lori.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And then 13. We'll stop with Flossie's. Well, all right then.
And just a question
Yeah.
or a note, just to be sure, well, if all of the lines are together like this, we say it all together: Angry Man, Mrs. Erndal, and Angry Woman. Correct?
You know, let's do them separately right
Okay.
now in the order they are on the page, just because Zoom doesn't let us do multiple
Right.
voices at the same time. So let's thanks for that, Don. We'll just go one at a time there. And I would say Angry Man, Angry Women, Mrs. Erndal, Flossie, Policeman. Give us your best Fargo accent, your best Minnesotan accent. Okay.
Just talk like I normally do, really.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
But
I
you're
don't
not.
have a Minnesota
Mhm.
accent.
Don't ya?
Good. Take us away, Steve.
We take you now to Fridley, Minnesota.
We hear the sound effects of sirens overlapping with the dialogue below.
Well, you look at that.
Told you it was big.
Out of the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Phillips again, speaking to you now from the Erndale Farm, Fridley, Minnesota. Professor Pearson and I made the drive from the University Inn.
Record time.
Record time, yes.
You drive like a maniac. Never been so scared in all my.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hardly know where to begin to paint for you a word picture of the strange scene before my eyes. The thing directly in front of me, half buried in a vast pit. What I can see of the object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor. It looks more like a huge cylinder. It has a diameter of, what would you say its diameter is, Professor Pearson?
Why don't you ask a male astronomer?
I beg your pardon?
It's about 30 yards in diameter.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheath is...
Come on, I want to see it.
Yeah, we drove all the way down from Blaine. Oh my gosh, it's just crazy. I just ad-libbing here.
Would you come on? I mean, for Christ's sake, we're here. Just come on down. Now, why do you have to go that direction? Come over here.
I'll go where I want.
Some of the more curious spectators seem to want to get close to the object.
All right, back off to one side there, you morons.
Yes, the morons are getting in front of my line of vision. Officer, would you mind moving them to the side, please?
One side there, one side.
Hey, I pay your salary.
Not enough, you don't.
While the policemen are hosing down the crowd, let's talk to Miss Pauline Earndahl and her sister Flossie, owners of the farm here.
Oh no, she doesn't own this farm.
Come again?
I said my sister doesn't own this farm. The way she acts, you'd think she owns it. Always puts herself down wherever she likes.
I see. Well?
She don't even pay rent. Not that I'd insist. Family is family, and blood is thicker than jug wine she sneaks the sips of and thinks I don't notice, okay?
Well, as to the meteor, if...
This farm has been in the family since 1887, and my late husband's family, that is. He's the Earndahls. I was the Heffelfinger. That was my maiden name. My sister's name is still Heffelfinger. She never married, but you catch my meaning.
I see.
She was engaged for a long time to a traveling fella. He was a used jar salesman.
A used car salesman?
No, I said what I said. A used jar salesman. Jar, like you can your preserves, you know.
I see. Could we talk about...
I told her, I said, Flossie, what kind of man sells jars for a living? Okay, I mean, really.
Miss Heffelfinger, could you tell our radio audience what you and your sister witnessed when this rather unusual visitor dropped into your backyard? Step closer, please.
Well, we were listening to the radio and
Closer and louder, please.
what'd you say?
Louder, please, and closer.
To you?
To the microphone.
Oh, I thought you meant get closer to you.
No.
I'm thinking, my lad, this fella's fresh.
Tell us what you remember, Miss Heffelfinger.
Well, as I was saying, we were listening to the radio. There was this woman pretended to be a professor, and she was talking about Mars, which isn't as lively as Whoopi John's polka pan. And I can tell you that, so I was kind of dozing. Halfway, anyhow, you know how it is when you...
Yeah. And then what happened?
Well, as I was saying, we were listening to the radio and this kind of halfway and whatever. I just made that shit up. Oops.
Yes. And then you saw something.
Not first off, I heard something. I'm so bad.
Well, what did you hear?
A hissing sound, like hisses. Kind of like kisses, but hisses. Kind of like the 4th of July rocket the kids set off, even though they know they're not supposed to, you know?
Yes. And then what?
Well, then I turned my head out the window and would have swore I was asleep and dreaming. I seen that kind of greenish streak, and then, well, excuse my language, but zingo! Something smacked the ground so hard it almost woke me up.
Well, were you frightened, Mrs. Heffelfinger?
I used to bartend in New Ulm. There's not much that could frighten me.
Thank you, Miss Heffelfinger.
Want me to tell you some more of what
No, that's fine. That's plenty.
Well, all right then.
All right, well done. That's a good cold read. We'll warm it up over the next few days.
I didn't swear, really.
Julia, you did great.
I swear.
I liked your Fargo.
Switched into Celine Dion, I think, in the middle, and a little Shakira.
Whatever works. That was really good, you guys.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was fun. And this is just little pieces of the script, obviously, just to get you guys warmed up. And we'll be doing a full read through here coming up in a couple of minutes so that we can all get a sense of how long this is. It's I think 34 pages total. But hey, thanks to Jeffrey for the great script.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Great job.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
And also our thanks to, I don't know if any of you got a chance to go down to the recording studio that we've assembled for you, but the sales area, which is empty of salespeople, it looks like a soundstage. Colleen and Brad did a video that Hannah posted on social media tonight. You should take a look at it. But we have an 8-camera, multi-channel, like 8-microphone system set up down there to capture this on video and audio. So tomorrow when you get to the station, go down to the sales area and check out where you're going to be working. It's pretty cool. And
Yeah,
thank you to
awesome.
Mike Weber, to Jake, and to Carl Deemer and his crew for putting that together. It's pretty amazing. So thank you guys. Thank you, My Talk listeners. And we're going to leave Facebook now, and these guys have to get to real work of doing the entire read through.